Each year on July 4th, Americans gather in parks, neighborhoods, and city squares to celebrate with fireworks, parades, and cookouts. It's a day meant for joy, community, and patriotism. But behind the sparkle of fireworks and the echo of laughter, some Independence Day stories take a far darker turn. In this episode of Shadowed Case File, we bring you 5 tragic cases that unfolded around the 4th of July. Events that began with celebration and ended in heartbreak. Some were accidents, others were acts of violence, and a few remain chilling, unsolved mysteries. These are the stories you've likely never heard, but should. On the evening of July 4th, 2011, in Kansas City, Missouri, 11-year-old Blair Lane was standing outside with her family, watching fireworks light up the sky. It was a warm summer night, and like many others across the country, she was enjoying the festivities. Nearby, a group of men were firing handguns into the air, a form of illegal celebratory gunfire that's more common than most realize. One of those bullets came down and struck Blair in the neck. She was rushed to the hospital, but passed away the next morning. Her death was devastating, not just because of her age, but because of how random and preventable it was. No one was ever charged directly in her death. But her family turned tragedy into activism. They pushed for new legislation that would make celebratory gunfire a felony in Missouri. In 2024, that law passed. It's now known as Blair's Law, and it stands as a lasting reminder of the danger that reckless behavior can pose on holidays like the 4th. What was meant to be a night of joy turned into a permanent void in her family's life. The following year, in West Virginia, another tragedy played out. This time, not by accident, but by design. 16-year-old Skylar Neese was a bright, driven teenager from Morgantown. On the night of July 4th, 2012, she was with 2 close friends, Sheila Eddy and Rachel Schoaf, people she trusted. After midnight, the 3 girls drove to a remote area near the Pennsylvania border. What Skylar didn't know was that her friends had premeditated a plan to kill her. Skylar was stabbed multiple times and left in the woods. Her disappearance initially baffled police. She was reported missing the next day, and for months there were no solid leads. Then, in early 2013, Rachel Schoaf confessed. She led investigators to Skylar's body and told them that she and Sheila had committed the murder. No clear motive ever emerged. The girls reportedly said they simply didn't want to be friends with her anymore. Rachel Schoaf was sentenced to 30 years in prison and Sheila Eddy to life. The public was stunned, not just by the brutality but by the betrayal. Skylar's Law, passed shortly after, improved how missing child cases are handled in West Virginia, ensuring alerts are issued faster and with fewer restrictions. What began as a seemingly normal 4th of July celebration turned into one of the most haunting teen murder cases in recent history. In Arizona, just 1 year later, another young woman's life was cut short in a case that remains unsolved to this day. 19-year-old Adrienne Salinas was a college student in Tempe, known for her ambition and bright personality. On the night of June 14, 2013, the Friday before Father's Day weekend and July 4th festivities ramping up, she attended a small party and later had a minor argument with her boyfriend. Sometime between 4 and 5 a.m., Adrienne was seen trying to get to a gas station to meet a taxi. She texted her boyfriend to say she was on her way, but she never made it. Weeks later, her body was discovered in a desert wash, 30 miles away in Apache Junction. The condition of the remains made it difficult to determine the cause of death. Despite extensive FBI involvement and public appeals, no suspect has ever been arrested. Adrienne's death is still classified as a suspicious homicide. Her case is one of the many haunting disappearances that occur on or around holiday weekends, times when people let their guard down and danger can strike quietly. For Adrienne's family, the 4th of July is a painful reminder of the day their daughter vanished without explanation. In Indianapolis, Indiana, a quieter tragedy took place in 2020. Andrew Huddleston, 31 years old, was celebrating the holiday with family and friends. He loved fireworks and the joy of the 4th. His family described him as someone who looked forward to it every year. But that summer, something went horribly wrong. A fireworks mishap led to a deadly explosion that claimed Andrew's life. The accident shocked those who knew him and highlighted just how dangerous even safe and legal fireworks can be. There was no criminal intent, no ill will, just one moment, one misstep, and everything changed. Andrew's story serves as a sobering reminder that the holiday's most iconic symbol, fireworks, can become fatal in the blink of an eye. Our final case is perhaps the most widely known, but no less tragic. On July 4th, 2022, the residents of Highland Park, Illinois gathered for their annual Independence Day parade. Families lined the streets, kids waved flags. It was a picture-perfect suburban celebration, until gunfire erupted from a rooftop nearby. In a span of seconds, a lone gunman armed with a high-powered rifle opened fire on the crowd. 7 people were killed. Dozens more were injured. Panic swept through the streets. The shooter fled the scene but was arrested hours later. He was eventually charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. The Highland Park shooting reignited national conversations around mass shootings and gun control, but for the victims' families, the questions weren't political. They were personal. How could this happen on such a sacred day? And what could have been done to stop it? Each of these 5 stories reveals a different face of tragedy, some preventable, others unsolved, all heartbreaking. Blair Lane, Skylar Neese, Adrienne Salinas, Andrew Huddleston, and the victims of Highland Park. Their stories are not well known, but they deserve to be remembered. Independence Day is meant to symbolize freedom, unity, and celebration. But behind the fireworks and flags, there are shadows, moments where joy turned to grief, and celebration gave way to mourning. These are the cases that linger, long after the last firework fades. This has been Shadowed Case File. If you found this story compelling, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with others. And most importantly, stay safe and never stop asking questions.